Welcome back to New York. Irv, you've been taking an overview. What kind of football are we seeing?
Well, it's not normal mid-season NFL football, Brent. A little sloppy, but it's simply a reflection of a long layoff and a short week of preparation. They're not as sharp as they normally would be, obviously.
I have seen that the good teams are still pretty good, the bad teams are still atrocious, and the Rams cannot hold the lead. Let's show you what has gone on down there. It is the Rams 14 and the Falcons 14. A lot of no-shows down there in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. And here was Jones going to Wendell Tyler. It's a classic sweep. The guards get out in front of him, and Tyler goes in from 5 yards out. And the Rams appeared to be making a rout of the game. Remember their opener against Green Bay? They did the same thing. Here is Ron Battle. He goes in. It was 14-0. And then, Irv, I think this was some of the sloppy tackling you were talking about.
No doubt about it. Here, Steve Bartkowski hits Alfred Jenkins. And, you know, the defender had a great shot at him, bounced off, and there goes Jenkins for the touchdown.
Now, on this punt return, here comes an old friend, White Shoes Johnson. And he's going to haul it back 71 yards to the Rams' 21-yard line. And from there, Gerald Riggs went in after the Falcons had moved inside the 5, their rookie and their top draft choice. And so now, as you can see on our board, they are tied at 14. In the AFC, New Orleans over Kansas City, and 10-7, they are at the half of that game. Meanwhile, Detroit and Chicago, 14-3, and the Bears have been absolutely dreadful. Those boos not for the Bears, but for both teams when they came out to demonstrate their solidarity before the start of the game. And then the crowd turned sour on the home team. Here was Wayne Smith with an interception against the rookie Jim McMahon from BYU, starting his first game for the Bears. And from there, Eric Hipple will roll left, throw with the right hand. Mark Nichols out of the wing for the touchdown. McMahon back after the kickoff. Ray Oldham picks it off and goes 35 yards. It was 14-3. How bad have the Bears been? You don't believe me? Watch this. Half the team pulls back. And there's the football. You talk about a timing problem, Irv Cross. They got more than that right now in Chicago. I don't mean to pick on the Bears, but they really are atrocious today.
Well, they're having a bad day today.
All right.
Okay?
All
Give them
right.
a break.
All right. Meanwhile, in County Stadium, the Green Bay Packers and Minnesota, and the Packers now have just moved ahead in that game, 13-7 over the Vikes. Remember, the Packers are 2-0 right now. And Pittsburgh and Houston, 10-3. Terry Bradshaw has thrown a touchdown pass. That is the 200th of his career. He is only 4 behind the active leader, Jim Hart of the St. Louis Cardinals. Cincinnati over Philadelphia, 8-0. And that's right, it was 5-0. And then they got a second field goal, 2 field goals and a safety. Now 8-0, Bengals with the lead. Miami and Buffalo, the only 2 unbeatens meeting today, and the Bills lead by an extra point, 7-6 over 2 Dolphin field goals in that game. The Jets are having the easiest time of all, 27-0. Frank Kush had contact 2-a-days. He probably left the Colts game back there in Baltimore. New England and Cleveland has been a tough defensive game so far. They are in the second quarter, and they are scoreless. Meanwhile, of course, the game you are watching here, the Dallas Cowboys leading Tampa Bay 7-6. And the NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations. I don't have to tell you that when pass receivers run their patterns, they often hear the footsteps of defensive backs who try to intimidate them. And back in the 1960s, no one's footsteps were more intimidating than those of Larry Wilson, the all-pro safety for the St. Louis Cardinals. Irv Cross now has a profile of Larry on Legends of the Game.
The perfect NFL defensive back needs the physical ability of a decathlon star and the luck of a riverboat gambler. Not only must he have the speed to cover fleet wide receivers, but he also must have the toughness to wrestle a big back to the ground. I tried it for 9 years, and I know. That's me, number 27, Irv Cross, back when I played cornerback for the Los Angeles Rams.
Having collided with a lot of people bigger, faster, and stronger than myself, I've come to appreciate the raw courage it takes to play defensive back. And in the history of this sport, I don't think there was ever a defensive back to play with more of that courage than Hall of Famer Larry Wilson. Today, he's director of pro personnel for the St. Louis Cardinals, and as you can see, has a whole mouthful of teeth.
But back in his playing days, he looked a little different. For nobody ever played safety with the calculated recklessness of Larry Wilson.
A free safety really should be making a lot of tackles. He should be up there. He should get a lot of tips, too. The total key to success in the secondary breaks down into hustle. It may take you a little time to read the play, but then after you read it, run like heck to get there, and more than likely you're going to find some action, and that's where the fun is. You know, if you're just standing around, there's no fun. You got to be beating on folks.
His favorite technique was the safety blitz, a Larry Wilson original.
The Cardinals was known as a blitzing team, and we'd blitz all three linebackers, and they were still picking us up. So I started cheating up a little bit, and I started coming. And with shooting the safety man, they didn't have enough folks. And all you had to do was tackle one of those old slow quarterbacks.
Larry, in 1965, you finished the season with cast on 2 broken hands. Now, why did you play?
There was really no reason not to play. They looked a lot worse than they were. You had to pad over the cast and stuff like that. It was a situation where the club needed me to play, and I wanted to play. No fun sitting around on the sidelines.
Despite 2 broken hands, he picked off 2 Pittsburgh passes, and the legend of Larry Wilson grew. The smartest quarterbacks in football couldn't fool him. The fastest wide receivers couldn't beat him deep. And in the end, nobody could deny this most courageous of defensive backs his rightful place in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I really honestly never considered myself to be that caliber of player. But I tell you what, I'm so proud of that. What a thrill in your life. You wish everybody could have an experience like that.
Irv, what does Larry do in the Cardinal front office?
He's director of pro personnel right now, so he's responsible for scouting pro clubs, so he's been quiet during the strike.
Exactly. The college scouts, though, have been busy because I think we should point out that they have moved up the college draft in the NFL so they can better compete with the new football league. It's into February. Now let's send you back to the stadium and the game you're enjoying on CBS.